The last opportunity to qualify for the World Championship in Legends of Runeterra. A top 2 finish in this tournament automatically secures you a place, and that's exactly what I'm going to try. Can I find 3 decks to go undefeated in this tournament? Or am I just going to get dunked by Seraphine, Set, and Aatrox decks? The story begins, like it would for most lazy players like me, only 1 week before the big tournament. Okay, so today is November 18. The tournament is November 25. I have no idea what decks I'm playing. Since my last real tournament, I've encountered one notable challenge. Rotation. Competitive play isn't part of my gaming routine, since I usually play sweet off-meta decks. Okay, so I can kill their biggest threat right now, keep enough mana to play our own champion, set up enough portals to have a wider board next time, and potentially deal enough damage that we will have lethal in a couple of turns. Or I can play the funny card. Okay, I'm playing the funny card. This mindset makes it hard to fully comprehend the intricacies of building a 3-deck lineup for a tournament. Tech choices, ban strategies, the mental warfare you have to endure when you queue into a triple aggro lineup, it's all too much. However, even with all those uncertainties, you can always rely on comfort picks. In my previous tournament, I played 2 decks that I was a beast on, and another deck that just happened to strategically align with that approach. Ziggs Talia and Victor Riven as my go-to comfort picks. 2 decks I went undefeated with last time, and then there was Annie Jin, the deck that lost me almost every game and completely sabotaged my chances. But even if I wanted to bring the same comfort picks, it wasn't an option anymore because Ziggs and Victor were sent to the rotation void, leaving me without a reliable replacement that captured their aggressive combo-oriented playstyle. And seeing how I lost everything with Annie Jin, I kind of wanted to just move on. So after a full day of research, I decided to go to the complete opposite side of the deck spectrum and practice all day with my new discovery. So I have about 6 days left until the tournament, and I just finished streaming about 6 hours of War Mother's Call with Volibear and Tryndamere. What have I become? I do feel pretty confident about this deck, and I think if I want to go with it to round out my lineup, I'm just going to go with Deep and Poros. So tomorrow I'm going to practice those decks and just see how it goes. Today is Poro Day. 2 of the most popular decks in the game are Shen Jarvan and Nora Heimerdinger, which Poros perform great into. But Poro decks are kind of strange. I'm not sure if I like it. The deck plays small, fluffy creatures from Freljord with stats that aren't very impressive. You make them bigger by feeding them Poro Snag, so if you don't find those cards, you're playing a deck with 1/1 units. And they make these weird sounds. This made me have second thoughts, so today I changed my mind completely and started practicing something else. So this lineup of Poro, Deep, and War Mother, I'm not sure. I don't think I can do this. These are decks I'm completely unfamiliar with, and I can't really expect myself to do well only a few days before the tournament. So after mostly playing Deep today, my win rate was awful. It was just not good, and I'm second guessing everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk to some people that are experienced in competitive play and tournaments, and I'm gonna ask for some advice. So I took out my trusty notepad once more and struck up a conversation with Robomaster, a renowned ladder player who then steered me in the direction of one very interesting card that came out only a few weeks ago, the Enraged Fire Spitter. At first glance, this card might not seem all that impressive, but combined with Might, this card becomes a game changer. Remove a unit, deal 2 damage to the enemy nexus, and become an 11 attack overwhelm monster with Challenger. Not only does this dragon take control of games, it ends them. The first deck I was looking at was Gwen and Riven. It's amazing to think that Riven, my favorite combo champion, potentially found a legitimate deck after a year of relative obscurity. All that was left to do was just to give it a shot. I played Riven and Gwen all day, and it went so well that I decided that my final 2 decks were also going to be Fire Spitter decks. So I just need to find a card package or a deck that functions in a similar way, slap Fire Spitter and Might in there, and just call it a lineup for the tournament. Which turned out to be Leona Diana using the Daybreak package and Tristana Teemo using their Swarm and Dual Regen card package. All my 3 decks functioned the same way, had similar matchup tables, so all I had to do was ban the bad matchup and win with my big red dragon. And I had 1 day of practice left before the tournament started, which I spent watching the new Hunger Games movie in the cinema. I really enjoyed it. I'd rate it a 7.5 out of 10. Today is the big day. I should have probably spent a little time practicing yesterday instead of going out to see a movie, but that'll make the win even more impressive. Before we start though, let me break down the game plan. The ultimate goal here is to secure 1st or 2nd place, which will guarantee me a spot in the World Championship. But first things first, we need to make it into the top 64 of this tournament. Now, in order to reach the top 64, we'll be facing a maximum of 11 best of 3 matches. Our objective is to get as close as possible to a perfect score, which means aiming for 9 wins and 0 losses. That would be the ideal scenario. However, even if we slip up a bit, achieving 9 wins and 1 or 2 losses should still be enough to secure a spot in the top 64. But here's the tricky part. If we end up with 8 wins and 3 losses, it's going to be a nail-biter and we'll be cutting it very close. So our primary focus should be on maximizing those wins and minimizing those losses to increase our chances of reaching the World Championship. And now, it's game time. I turned on my stream with a 5-minute delay and... Okay, today is the day. Triple Fire Spitter, big stat lineup. But because I am a man of the people and I care more about that than actually winning, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm dead serious about it. No, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. All right. Why no Aesol is no more. We have 1 copy of Aesol in our lineup. Nobody can tell me why no Aesol. Don't tell me I'm not here for all of you, because I am. All right, Runeterra open. Let's do it. For context, whenever somebody tries to backseat me when I'm streaming, my chat and I will usually spam, why no Aesol? Because why didn't I just put Aurelion Sol in my deck instead? Well, I did. In the highest stake Runeterra tournament I have ever played in, I put Aurelion Sol in my lineup. Your move, Ionia enjoyers. This could just only go great. Yeah, I have surely read. I have read everything. Okay. Let's do it. All right. This is already like a lineup that I do not like at all. To prepare for every best of 3, I had this handy website to review matchup win rates and decide on my ban strategy. But I encountered one small problem. The decks I brought weren't very popular, so there was no data available to calculate what the favorable and unfavorable matchups were. I just had to work with what I had and get a little creative during the ban phase. Game 1 started. I had to beat Aatrox Vayne and Nora Heimerdinger with my Leona Diana deck and Gwen Riven. I put all my hopes and dreams into Gwen Riven because the matchup against Nora Heimerdinger specifically was 70% in my favor. I'm getting into it. I'm chilling. I'm doing my thing. Just gotta get into the mindset. But I'm sure I will. Yeah, I think I'm keeping the Pill Cascade because I'm on the Ravoon Leona game plan now, and I need my cards to protect them instead. I only had a single Ravoon on the board versus my opponent's whiteboard, but sometimes that's all it takes to slowly get a decisive victory. Ravoon allows you to activate Daybreak on any card you play instead of restricting it to the first card you play every turn. Leona stuns the strongest enemy unit every time you activate Daybreak. And the General of the Dunes, the card I just generated from Ravoon, grants vulnerable to the weakest enemy every time you activate Daybreak. This 3-card combination lets you take total control of the board, stunning and challenging for total dominance. It's like assembling Exodia, except it's only 3 cards, so we'll call it Daybreak Exodia, but without legs.
Behold the divine power of the sun!
It's better to play this next turn, because even if I get my units to 6 health, they could still die from a strike here.
Ours is the one true light.
Okay. So now we can stun this. We got the barrier now, so we can block this. What they will probably do is play the Staratu. And I should just hush that, so they don't get draws. I have really no reason to allow them to find a way out.
The sun shall banish all shadows.
Answer to me.
Because, like, this is barrier, so... Ooh, alright. Well, it's a lineup that I'm very worried about, so I'm pretty happy that we got the first win in there. Not too bad. This deck, the Gwen Riven deck, is a lot better at just, like, cheating a win. Like, just killing them out of nowhere. Which is exactly what I did. Sure, my opponent might have 3 ginormous Darken on the board, but I have the Fire Spitter. Yeah, I think it's correct to just go for lethal here when they're on 1 mana. Like, what can they do for 1 mana? GG. The counter lineup, and we just took it home on the very first best of 3, 2-0. Very nice, GG. And with that, I was off to a great start, securing the first win with a fantastic 2-0 score. I just needed to win 8 more best of 3s. I've got my work cut out for me. I ran into a lineup with 3 removal decks, so you might think my ban choice was difficult, but I'm just going to ban Karma Set. I really hate that deck. My Yordle deck and my Gwen Riven deck weren't favored into decks with a lot of removal. Leona and Diana, on the other hand, has chunky Daybreak units, which makes removing them a lot more difficult. But, of course, my opponent was prepared for that. Man, that's bad. Contrologist created this card.
A scandal scout never.
How dare they? Lost.
Maybe we could just like... Maybe we can draw like 2 Fire Spitters? That's 4 damage. I guess it is safer. Like, this deals 1 and this deals 3. Oh my god, we won that game! There's no way! Everything was against us! Riot was sabotaging the top decks! That was 1 win for the Fire Spitter, but I still had to beat my opponent's removal pile lineup 1 more time, going up against their deck that doesn't run 1, not 2, but 201 damage pings. I hope they're tilted out of their mind, because I'm gonna need it if I want to get 1 extra win. Oh. That can hit the Riven, but that doesn't really matter. Created by Conch, okay, so that doesn't give me any information about their hand.
I give you muscles.
That's -10. That's not a small amount.
If only she
Ah, this Broadman is really annoying. Guess just go for it.
Even shattered hearts mend in time.
I still have mana open for Might on the Gwen, potentially, so I have 2 angles of lethal. I'm assuming this isn't like 4 pings to kill everything. I'm expecting aping. I'm expecting an answer, but I'm hoping they don't have it. Oh my god, dude, we 2-0'd the lineup that could not have worried me anymore. Life is good, man. That's a 2-0 against lineups that should have bopped me immediately. Oh, let's go. Another huge confident boost because I beat the dreaded removal pile. I took a quick break and... Alright, let's keep it going. Like the professional streamer I am, forgot to remove the text on the screen. Our next opponent was playing Set Karma, Jinx Echo, and Misfortune Quinn. I obviously banned the Ionia deck, queued up against Jinx Echo, and this deck has an intriguing gameplay dynamic, with Echo as the centerpiece. Echo relies on cheap and weak predict units like Forsaken Bakai and Chronomancer to level up. These low power units get more powerful when Voice of the Risen is in play, granting a +2 attack boost to all ally units when a champion levels up during that game. The strategy then revolves around attacking with all units constantly, leaving them to die in combat or to removal spells. Echo then predicts into a Chrono Break, resurrects all dead units to rally and do it all over again. It's pretty thematic if you think about how he plays in League. Except in Runeterra, he gets to revive his teammates too. This deck's game plan is powerful, aggressive, and very resilient against removal because of that Chrono Break. However, I'm playing Leona. I'm not going to kill any of Echo's friends. I'm just going to let them sit there, stunned, while Echo watches on, unable to move, as we slowly chip away at the opponent's nexus. We play the Leona spell on the Sunhawk. We got 2 more stuns. Their entire board is locked the hell down, and we go for the win. Bro, I'm not killing your stuff. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Alright. Goodbye, little man. Goodbye, powder. Game 2 had my Yordle army take the Arcane Gang on once more. But I stacked up on impact and I was ready to send everything in the direction of their nexus. All in, baby. We swing it or we go home crying. It's all in, no cards in hand. Just an army of Yordles and some impacts. Let's see if it's enough. Yeah, that's it. Alright. 3-0, baby. We haven't lost a single game yet, by the way. That's 6-0. Everything so far was just going really, really well. But one thing I had to realize was that every time I won, I'd also be matched against stronger opponents. Every win makes the run more difficult. But I need to stay focused and determined. So our Gwen Riven does well into everything. Our Teemo Tristana does not do well into anything. Am I the only one that looks at stats? They banned Teemo Tristana and that had like a trash win rate into everything. My opponent banned the deck that was their best matchup, but unfortunately it didn't matter because after an extremely long game, I got my first loss because I died to Nora's portals. The score was 0-1, so I had to win 2 games in a row to win the best of 3. Oh, we're dead. I just died. You're joking.
Plenty for all of us.
If I drew this last turn, by the way, it was lethal. Alright. That happens. Even this game was extremely close, but thanks to Diana and some creative ways to activate Nightfall through Telstones, I was able to barely clutch the first win I needed. Oh my god, dude. Oh, Christ. Oh, we did it! We beat Poros! Let's go! Ooh, we got the Gwen Riven left, which is one I'm more comfortable on. And I think this is a better matchup too.
I'm ready to play, bop, and knock over some cups.
I gotta get rid of that, man. I cannot have a Yuumi sticking around on a tough unit like that.
We're off on a new adventure.
Yeah, we just made them win. I mean, we used 2 cards, right? But we got rid of 2 Yuumis already that were just gonna stick around like that. The final game came down to my ability to remove Poros with a Yuumi on them until eventually I found an opening to go all in. Let's go! Hell yeah, dude. Oh my god, that first game! And then we still come back, beating Poros twice. Ooh, let's go! That feels good, dude. That feels good. That's win number 4. Only dropped 1 game so far. Our next opponent had 2 chunky mid-range decks and elusives. And to my surprise, my Tristana deck was awful into this entire lineup, with a 35% win rate into their elusive deck. My only real way to win this matchup is having a huge Tristana to instantly kill them through Overwhelm. But my opponent was well aware that that's what I was trying to do to get the win. That's messed up, dude. Wow, I could actually won through that. That's really unfortunate. Huh. But this actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise. My opponent used all their mana to remove Tristana, so I was able to develop my board and push even more damage through Might to set up lethal with Noxian Fervor the next turn. Screw you! 35% win rate matchup. We literally got our worst deck out of the way already. Bro, how badly can you screw a free win up, man? They had Teemo into skip into Yuumi. I'm sorry, bro. How do you lose that?
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Yeah, whatever, Ancestor. I'm doing great, so watch me win another best of 3 by using Might on my Leona for 17 damage in a single turn. And just like that, And just like that, he gets there.
Daylight everlasting.
Damn, dude. God damn. I did end up losing the first match of best of 3 number 6, but after 2 nail-biter games, I still came out victorious. Wow. Oh my god, I can't believe we actually won that.
Persistence is key. My research!
Oh my god!
Daylight everlasting.
That overconfidence was getting to me because I once again won a match that was way too close. But this right here is where things really started to go downhill. I'll pause the screen for a second here, and if you reply with the misplay in the comments, I'll give you a cookie, okay? Okay, so I completely missed this when I was playing, but I used Fervor on the enemy Nexus when I should have used Fervor on the Nora to cancel out the Hate Spike. Allowing Ravun to survive, hit the Nexus for 2 more damage, which meant the Fire Spitter in my hand was potentially lethal. Which 100% turned out to be the case because my opponent was sitting on 1 HP all game long and ended up winning the game. And things didn't get any better in the second game. My opponent's Poro deck found snacks early, rolled Lifesteal on the Poro bot to put a Yuumi on there, and also had the King on turn 5 to close out the game. And that was loss number 1. But it doesn't matter, right? Mental reset, and let's give it a fresh shot for the next best of 3. Oh, man.
The Vandal Scout tries harder every time.
That sucks, man. Just like that, I lost 2 games in a row. 1 more loss and I was out of the tournament with no chance to make Worlds. And that's when I queued into my next opponent, which turned out to be a name I really didn't want to see. Broken Ball is an incredible and experienced competitive player and definitely doesn't mess around when it comes to Legends of Runeterra. And I was about to find out why I started to hear boss music. Alright, GG. The run ends here, chat. I tried, but that is a lineup that I will not beat in a million years, unfortunately. Alright, well, we went 6-3, so it could have been worse. Unfortunately, as we got later into the run and we ran into better opponents, they know what to do against our pretty one-dimensional lineup. We could have probably done a bit more, but yeah, I don't know. Opponent played really well. And that is the end of my Last Chance Qualifier run. It started so well, winning 6 games in a row, and then unfortunately, it all came crashing down by losing 3 games in a row as well. I'm still proud of the result, and after doing some reflection, editing this and looking back at what I could have done better, I know that it wasn't the overconfidence. It wasn't the horrible misplay with Fervor against the Nora deck. It wasn't even queuing into Broken Ball at the end as my final boss. No, the real problem was only running 1 single copy of Aurelion Soul, because if I ran the full set of 3, I think we can all agree I would have probably won those games. But hey, there's always next time. I'll see you in the next video.